what I'm actually going to do is we are going to cover first some of the signals. As a table official or commissioner, these are modes of communication with the referees on the court. And it is, you know what they say about a message. The message sent is as good as the message that has been received. So to be able to confirm that what the official has sent to us is what we as the table officials or commissioners have received at the table, it is very important that we know what these signals are and what they represent. So what I intend to do for the start of this evening is that we are going to cover those areas. So just bear with me. Now, what I would add before we actually go into it is that sometimes we have a difference in language, but one thing that is universal is the signals. So even if we may not be able to actually have a verbal conversation with that referee, regardless of where we are, one thing that will remain the same is the signals. So this is why we're going to be looking at these this evening, and we're going to spend some time. I want you to ask as much questions as you possibly can. If you need me, we're going to use a video, and if you need me to stop the video and replay a section of the video, I am very much willing to do that, because I want to make sure that at the end of it, you understand what I am trying to portray, and I understand that you understand that what I am intending to send out to you is received. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I'm gonna have to log out and log back in, because it's not allowing me to share the video, but I'm going, so just give me a minute or two. So can you confirm that you are picking up on the screen?
Just before you go any further, excuse me, Mr. Yearwood.
Yes, please.
I am not hearing you. You're breaking up a lot, and I think I've missed some of what you just said previously.
I'm hearing you clearly. I'm seeing the screen.
All right. So what we're going to be covering, and you're not seeing the screen. You're saying?
I am
No,
seeing it.
we're seeing the screen.
We're seeing the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I've stopped here before we proceed. The media timeout, we tend to use only mainly in international games where there are major sponsors. And so for the television production might need a media timeout. And this is why you'll find this rule covered in the game. In our normal domestics, we unless we have television production crews or TV media covering, we don't tend to use the media timeouts, but at the international level, it is sometimes used. Any questions so far? Continuing. All right, here, this communication of the thumbs up or one that you would not see is the thumbs down, but very much used. This is communication to you. If you don't have a commissioner at the table, or for the commissioner at the table, the referee, when the referee signals that thumbs up to you, he's looking for a reply from you as to if everything at the table is ready to proceed. If it is not ready to proceed, you give the thumbs down so that they will not proceed. Say, for example, at the beginning of the game, they will not proceed with the jump ball. For example, for some reason, there's an issue that the score sheet is not correct and not ready to start the game, you give a thumbs down. So in other words, you're saying to the referee or or the official on at table side, we are not ready to proceed here. When you're ready to proceed, you also would reply with that thumbs up. Am I making myself clear?
So you do a thumbs up to say you're not ready and a thumbs up to say you're ready?
No, a thumbs down. Thumbs down to say you're not ready. Okay? Thumbs up if you're ready to proceed. Is that clear?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Clear.
Okay, so in terms of reset shot clock, this is where now the signal is either 24 or 14. This is where now you as a table official or commissioner has to know what is the value of the reset. So the normal rule which we've been covering, if the ball is in front court and staying with the offensive team, and there's a reset, what is going to be the reset amount? I want to hear it from you.
14.
14 seconds.
14.
14.
If the ball is being now handed over now to the defensive team for them to become the offensive team, what is the reset?
24.
24 seconds.
If the ball is in backcourt, staying with the same offensive team, what is the reset?
24.
I hear one person. Anybody else agree or don't agree?
Sure.
24.
24. Once it's in backcourt, 24.
24.
All right, good. All right, let's proceed.
In backcourt is 24.
I'm gonna ask you one of the when you see these violations, or let's go back to this jump ball situation or hell ball situation. What is the first thing you as a table officials, what is the first thing communicated to you by the referee?
Stop the clock.
Anybody else? Anyone else? Yes, it is indeed.
Yeah, he stopped the clock first.
Yes. To stop the clock, something has happened. And this is where you have, I want you to understand the communication. Referee saying to you a series of sending you a series of messages. Stop the clock, stop the clock. Now I'm going to tell you what has happened. So, and it's important that that communication comes across, because what can come off is more time than actually is necessary for that game. You'll then possibly have to reset the clock to adjust the clock to the time now that the referee had first signal you to stop the clock. So it's important. First signal sent to you is to stop the clock. So timer, you stop that clock and you just wait to see what is the message, what is the next message, what has occurred.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Some timers, on recognizing that the ball go outside, stop the clock before the referee's instruction to do so. Is that correct or is that not correct?
All right. If it is obvious that the ball has gone out of bounds, you don't have to wait for the referee to tell you to stop the clock. Because what may or may not have happened is that the referee may have forgotten themselves that they didn't stop the clock. But if you see the ball is obviously out of bounds, stop the clock.
So you are saying to me that indirectly, based on a situation, I can use my initiative.
Correct. I mean, it's a team out there.
Okay.
The ball goes out of bounds, you've stopped that clock. You
Okay.
then hold on, you then get that referee's attention, letting him or her know, look, you didn't signal me, but I've stopped the clock. If there's any adjustment to be made, they will communicate back to you any adjustment. But using your initiative, if a ball is a very, now this is where I'm going now on the other side. If a ball is still in the air over the line, it is not out of bounds as yet.
Right.
Okay? So as long as that ball has landed outside, you can go ahead and stop that clock. I can't see any referee who would fault you for going ahead and do so. But if the ball is still in the air, keep that clock running. You might have someone who jumps from the clock into the air and throw that ball back inside. The ball is still live. Don't stop it then. So in other words, my answer to you, Coach Voot, is to allow the ball to land on the outside before you stop the clock.
Right, no problem. I'm aware of that. Just wanted to know that I can use my initiative.
Yes. All right. Moving ahead. If no more questions at this time. All right, going back here for illegal dribble or carrying the ball. I want someone who hasn't spoken as yet to tell me what the series of communications from this referee, what they were. I'm gonna start calling some names if someone doesn't volunteer.
First, you stop the clock.
Uh-huh.
Then you communicate what the error was, or you indicate the carrying sign.
Uh-huh.
And then you point to the position where it was committed.
Where
the direction the ball should be going. Sorry.
Correct. Okay. So the series of communications, there are 3 messages sent to the table. First was stop the clock. So I'm gonna go back and play it a little, and then I'll stop it. stop the clock, what is the violation, and the direction of play. Then the fourth one is where the ball would be inbounded. So you've got 4 messages there actually. So it's stop the clock, what was the violation, the direction of play the play is going in, and where the ball is going to be inbounded. What you understood was this message.
Stop the clock and a 3-second violation.
Excellent. Correct. Okay, so you're sitting at the table and you have gotten a violation that there's an 8-second violation. What is going to happen now if there's a 8-second violation?
The ball would have to be 8-second violation. It goes the next way. It's the next team's ball, right?
Correct. And how many seconds are going to go on the clock?
14 seconds.
Anybody disagree? Okay, so you see exactly how it fits in now for us as table officials. That's not going to be communicated to us that we have to reset the clock. We've got an 8-second violation. It's expected now that we know that, okay, the ball is now turned over to the defensive team and it's now going to be in their front court. So general rule, that's why I'm emphasizing it's in their front court, set to 14 seconds, and we continue the game.
Backcourt side.
So, question I'm going to ask again now. If we had the original one, which was the ball returned to backcourt, okay, what is going to be our setup here? What is going to happen once ball returned to backcourt? What is going to happen? What is the next mode of play?
Referee give the ball at half line.
Where
Inbound.
is it going to be at half line? Center court extended? Or is it going to be
Center court.
Or is it going to be in the front court of the
Center court extended back court. And then you give them the 24.
All right, anybody else? Come on, let's. I
14 seconds.
All right, so I hear in 24 seconds, I hear 14 seconds. Come on, let's get this going. Anyone else?
It's 14 seconds. Ball will be from the sideline.
Sideline where? And where?
Close to the close to the center court.
Close to the
Opposite
center court.
side of the score.
Is it going to be,
Opposite side of the score table.
and is it going to be front court or is it going to be back court? That's the question.
Front.
Back court.
Front.
All right.
Back court.
So we've
In the
got,
front court.
so we've got various views here. Uh-huh. Let's hear your view. Come on.
It'll be backcourt, wouldn't it? Because you said it's a violation, backcourt violation.
Correct.
So it'll be center court, backcourt,
Uh-huh.
and this new team get possession of the ball.
Mhm.
The other team gets possession of the ball, so it'll be a new 24 on the clock because they'll be going the opposite way, right?
Okay. I want someone to do me a favor right now before we proceed to look up the rules of ball return to backcourt.
Oh no! If it's the team's home court in the front court, after the violation is made, it'll be 14 seconds, right?
Are you sure now?
14 seconds.
It'll
Good.
be 14 seconds backcourt by extension by the free
Has to be
throw.
14
Yeah.
in the front court of the opposing team.
Good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please understand, sometimes we can get it mixed up. So I want to make sure that we're getting it right, that we're getting it right. So if it is a backcourt by the team, remember that team that had the backcourt violation, it would now be the new team's front court. Correct?
Correct.
Correct. So 14 seconds and the defensive team at violation becomes now the offensive team, 14 seconds and the game continues. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Deliberate. Start.
Now it's important that we catch these ones because these are communications directly to us. All right. I want you to understand that the signal of 7 and this signal is two different signals.
Okay, so I have a question. During his presentation, he used his left hand to stop the clock and to do most things.
Correct.
When he went to numbers, he used his right hand for the majority.
Good.
Is that,
You
can
will
he use his
understand.
left hand?
No, it is not the same signal. So you will understand now why he has to switch to that right hand once we get into the doubles. Once we get into the doubles, you will understand why he has to use his right hand to start the count with his right hand.
Okay, that was my observation because everything else he did with his left hand to stop the clock and everything else. But when it went to the count, his right hand was the dominant hand.
You're spot on there. And that's why I stopped to make sure that we get this part, because we have to understand that he's going to use the right hand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're adding now 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? So all that he's saying with his right hand, it is 5 plus 1 if it's 6, 5 plus 2 if it's 7, 5 plus 3 if it's 8. And it's not this. It is not that. Okay?
That represents 35.
No, you will see what it represents later. And so don't push ahead yet.
That's 53.
Let's wait. Let's hold it. Now watch where we are going now. So we are now at 11. So remember now it was 5 plus 5 is 10. To get to 10 now, it's a quench fist of the right hand, and 10 plus 1 is 11. That's the signal. That's what it's saying to you. 10 plus 1 is 11. And it goes on till 15.
So the clenched fist is just an extension after 10.
Of 10.
Up to 10, you use your both hands.
So up to 10 is both hands. All it's saying, the quench fist is saying 10 plus an additional. So notice now we are at 16. But you notice what he did? You notice what he did?
Reverse.
I've reversed it and I've stopped.
Reverse number 1 for the decade.
All right. So now, watch it now. From 16, because there's no possible way you can show in one signal 16 with your fingers. It is now, the hand is reversed. So you're seeing the back of the hand. Okay? So you're seeing the back of the hand. So that's saying, okay, it is putting it now. This is 10, but 10 up than 15. Okay. Right? And then now you reverse the front of the hand to show the 6. So it's a double signal now. And this is where you've got to understand. So that dominant now is the back of the hand. Okay? And then the 16, the 6, to say 6, to give you the count of 16. Okay, so you notice now, so if you're saying 22, this is a signal for 22. 22. 24. 25. So 30,
30.
Okay, 40. Okay, we following along? Watch now. All right, so you see now 60. Okay. 62. 62.
60.
So both hands showing the 60, reverse side of both hands showing as 60, and then the smaller number being the 2, showing the front of the palm. $78.
99.
Okay, so again now, you've got 78.
70.
78. So coach, going back to answer your question now, if you started to use the other hand, it confuses, because remember now, the only thing that's universal are the signals. So if I am showing this as the dominant and I'm confusing who's at the table. So it's the dominant always starts with the right hand. So if you notice the presenter, he's probably left-handed. So he's been using most of his signals left-handed. But when it came to the numbers, he immediately switched to his right hand because that's the only way that it is understood and can be counted.
Right, and that was correct. And that was my observation. So I recognized early that he was left-handed, but he made the signal correctly.
Thank you. So what I want to say to you, there's nothing wrong with you as a table official if a referee signals a number to you and you, in return, say you're the commissioner or you are the scorer, you signal back to him or her the number that you receive. What it does, it confirms that the wrong person in the scorebook is not being attributed this violation, and then there's a mix-up coming on further in the game or at the end of the game. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Understood.
Holding. Pushing or charging.
And check.
Illegal use of the hands. Charge.
Now, we've had 2 signals of illegal use of the hands there. Did you remember seeing 2?
Yes.
Let's go back.
Was a push.
All right.
What is that?
Hold on.
One is the
Good. Okay.
wrist.
So this is one.
That's the wrist.
Okay. That's one.
And
And this is the other one.
Okay.
All right. So the correct interpretation of this is that this one, the last one, is in the act of shooting.
Okay. I have a question there.
Okay, so
My question is, he's using his left hand to indicate that. If someone is right-handed and make that sign opposite, is that okay?
That is fine. That is fine.
Very important.
Very
it's
fine.
just a number. It's just a
What
number.
the communication of numbers is different. And when you switch around for numbers, it can tell a different signal. So this is why you make the signals comfortable to your dominant hand, but when it comes to the numbers must be done correctly.
Wonderful.
All right? So if you've got this signal, you're probably looking now that there's going to be shots after this. In control. Right? After shooting, there's going to be 2 shots. After shooting, the ball is going to be inbounded. That's what that is saying. So if you saw that, I want someone who has an answer to this. Yeah, if you saw this signal here, what's the communication to you? What is going to be?
That both players have fouled?
Correct. So you've got a double foul. So what you have to do now is look out for the numbers that are involved. Okay? So what the referee should be doing is that the first signal of the number of the first player, he should be pointing to the bench of that player. So if he signals that it was 7, number 7, he should be pointing to the bench of that player, and then he's going to say it was number 10. Or the next team, he should be pointing to the bench of that player so that you understand who is going to, because if he just signaled to you number 7 and then signal number 8, which number 7, number 10, which number 7, which number 10, it would leave you confused. Am I correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Accurate.
Right. Yes. All right. Now, in understanding the last, when it comes to your score sheet, for those of you who are, in fact, as a table official, you should know each rule. So when we get into it, these signals, like for example, a disqualifying foul, will cause you to make certain notations on your score sheet. So it is important that you understand that in a disqualifying foul, it means that this player is no longer allowed to participate in this game from this point on. So it will spark you to make certain notations on your score, on the score sheet, and we will cover those.
You have a question before we move on?
Go ahead.
Like before, when we had the both players foul,
Correct.
if we have a situation like that as well, where they have two players who disqualified, do they do the same thing, disqualifying, and then they show the number for which bench?
Okay, so you're, if I'm hearing you correct, you're saying that two players have been disqualified.
Yes.
So first, what they will do is in sequence. They will signal disqualifying foul, tell you it's for number 10 over here.
Point to the bench.
And point to the bench. Then they will signal again. It's number 11 for this team, point to the bench. So it's to make sure that the right foul and the right penalty goes to the right player on the score sheet. Does that answer your question, Leona?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I want you to understand the administration of free throws comes in three parts. At the first stage, when the referee signals to you the type of foul, who is responsible, and what is going to be the penalty, they're going to signal to you it's either going to be 1 free throw, 2 free throws, or 3 free throws. When they administer it to the player who's actually shooting, it'll be 1, 2, or 3. Now watch the difference when it's being administered now by the trail or center official here. Good. Notice the trail will not put up 2 fingers. It's going to be the palm, showing the palm of the hand for 2 free throw attempts. Okay? That will be 2. So this will be 1, but this will be 2. And 3. All right. So we've covered the rules, the signals for this evening. And, you know, in addition, what I want to say to you, it is important that you know them and you understand them. So it's important that you also practice them. And a good way of practicing them is right in front of the mirror until you're actually comfortable and they become muscle memory. I'll tell you, referees do the very same thing. They practice their signals right in front of the mirror. In fact, those you consider great referees, that's exactly what they do. You practice something that it becomes muscle memory, that you don't have to think about it too hard. Any questions?
I don't have a question, I have a statement. For people that may have a problem with the numbers, remember when you're doing the numbers, you want to read it left to right. So as we naturally do it. So if you're the one giving the numbers, you use your right hand because the person facing you will see it from the left. And it's an easier way to read it.
Agree. I totally agree with you on that, Mark. And this is why it has to, like Coach Wu had asked, if it makes a difference reading it the opposite way. And it does. So it is correct to read it from, you know, read the number coming from the right hand and then going to that left hand. All right, thanks very much. And any other questions? I know I'm not doing such a great job, so I mean, come on, there's got to be some questions that come out, that pop out. Anything that it relates to signals and your communication at the table, or any signal that was not covered that you may not have seen being covered. Okay, a new signal that has gone in, okay, and this is in the fourth quarter where you have that an ball is being inbounded and you see the referee signal. What he's saying to the player is that that defensive player cannot allow any part of his or her body to come beyond that line. And if it does do so, and it does happen, it will be an automatic technical foul. Do you understand?
So
You're talking about the defensive person.
Yes.
Can you make the signal again, please?
And I'll show it to you. So it'll be parallel to the line. So all they're doing is saying to the defensive player, do not allow any part of your body to come beyond this line.
They get a warning for that.
Yeah, it's a warning. That is the warning. That is a warning for that.
And then anytime after that,
anytime
it's the
after
technical.
that, correct.
All right.
And that occurs mainly in the fourth quarter. 2 minutes.
Brings me to a question. As a referee, you will interpret whether that individual is aware of the rule, using it to an advantage, or it's ignorant. So if you make that wave sign, he crosses the line, and in your opinion, he's the other way, can you warn him, or should you give him the tip?
Okay, the rule tells you at 2 minutes, with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you must make that player aware. You can't leave it for his or her interpretation. You must make that player aware. So that's why it's included now in the signals. So you can't.
So you always warn before you technical.
Correct. So at 2 minutes, you have any inbound happening with 2 minutes or less, you must give that warning. You can't allow a player to go and do it and then, but you must give that warning. That's what it's saying. Not may, you must give the warning. So once there is an inbounding ball occurring, you as a referee who's administering that ball must give that warning.
Okay, so it's imperative that the players themselves understand that new signal.
Correct. And that's why I also need to share it with table officials so that they understand to themselves, okay, that warning has been given, so watch out for what's going to happen.
Well, you know, we in the Caribbean, we have this tendency to, the referees are working hard as we are doing now, the table officials, but the players just come to play. And they learn on the night that they are playing. And they're the one that wants to fight the referee, fight the table official, and they have no clue about the rules. So what do you suggest we do?
And this is why that, for example, you know, when you show someone afterwards that they've done something wrong, if you were to just print that page of the rule and hand it to that player, I'm guaranteeing you, even if they may not say it themselves, they're going to feel rather stupid having protested it thereafter. Sometimes all we need is a visual aid that, okay, yeah, so the referee was right. And it's captured in the rule. That's why it is imperative that you give as a referee, the referee gives that warning before administering that technical.
Okay.
Any more questions?
I just want to go to a different level, you know. So I'm in Germany. I'm an English referee. I cannot speak German, but I want to give that information to a player who may not be aware of the rules. He don't speak English. I don't speak German. So when I make that chop, that is all his problem, whether he knows it or not.
Or not, correct, because the signal is universal. That warning that you give to him is universal.
So, and hence the reason that coaches should be on this to educate their players also.
Well, I totally agree. I totally agree.
In one instance, I would think that something like this should be something that the associations would go over before tournaments, pre-tournament with the teams and players, the team management,
correct,
so to speak.
Your technical meetings should cover stuff like that. And that's if but you put the emphasis on the local associations to have these sessions. If the players and the coaches choose not to come out, then that's a different thing to deal with afterwards. You can then expect on games night to have a teaching seminar.
That's right.
All right.
All right. So if no more questions, no more comments, I am going to leave you for the night.
Wonderful session, Mr. Haywood.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Agreed.
You.
All right, have a good evening.
You too.
Okay.